Hey guys, it's Neon Nezzy, back again with another Destiny 6 video, and today we have reached 500 subscribers. Even, I think right now it's like 513, which is absolutely insane, guys. This is my 7th weekend. I just finished my 6th week of making YouTube videos, less than 2 months, a month and a half actually, and I have over 500 subscribers. Thank you so much for the support. As promised, we have crossed the 500 supporters or 500 subscribers margin, so I will be doing a $10 gift card giveaway. So all you guys have to do is just go ahead, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave a comment in the comment section down below with hashtag Nezzy. Don't worry, you guys can ask me a question with hashtag Nezzy as well. It doesn't matter to me. I will be reading all of your comments just to make sure that if you guys are asking some questions, that they are being answered. Also, don't be afraid to leave questions, because even if I don't get back to them, there are a lot of people out there that are just as experienced or even more experienced than I am when it comes to the game. And a lot of times people are replying and helping out the community. So today is a pretty special video. We are going to be covering the top 12 most popular strikers that I see in Arena. Now, just take note of what I just said. Not the best strikers in Arena, but the top 12 most popular strikers in Arena. I placed 8th last week, and I was in the top 10 for about the last 3 days of the week. So I was facing off people from all the way from Vita QQ, who was number 1 last week, to like the top people that were probably being placed in like the top 30 or top 20. So I think I have a pretty good idea of what's popular, and we're going to look at all these heroes and why they work or why they're so popular. So before I get started, I just want to give you guys a quick tip. I mean, you guys, a lot of people already know this, but just if you guys have friends and you guys are sending out friendship points and you guys are receiving friendship points, know that you can only accumulate up to 5,000 friendship points, okay? So right now, it's always good to just save up all the way to 5,000 or as close as you get to 5,000 and just start getting your adventure keys for your friendship points. So let's go into the codex. Again, these aren't the best. These are just the most popular. We're going to talk about why they're so popular and why they work, how to order them, how to crest them. So the first one over here, believe it or not, out of all of Sylvis, a lot of these units are really good in the core 3. The only one that I see in the striker position is Rock Tyler. Reason being is that a lot of these units are used in the striker position because when you put them in the striker position, they also activate their leader skill. His leader skill is increase the crit rate of all allies by 7%. He's the only natural 4-star that does this, and critical rate is really good when you have units like Julian or Jun or Benito, units that hit hard or just hit really fast. So that's the main reason why they use him. Another reason why they use him is because of his striker, which is Arcane Shot. It fires off 4 arrows. The higher crit chance you have, the more damage you will deal. And the moment you crit, you're going to be dealing critical damage as well, right? So you're already going to have 150% critical damage. Depending on your substats, you guys might have 180 even. So he is used because generally the teams that you pair him up with are really squishy. Strikers are activated when you deal damage, but the striker bar fills up faster with regard to the damage that you take. So because these are generally run with squishy teams means you're dealing more damage, but you're also taking more damage. So this 5,000 strike point is actually being filled pretty darn fast. When he activates his striker position or his striker skill, he's going to increase critical damage, and if he crits, then he will ignore their defense. When you have a critical damage buff by, I think 20%, is it? Oh, now, wow, it's 40% actually for 12 whole seconds. So when that happens, all of your attacks that do crit are going to be dealing much more damage, and you have the crit rate lead with him. So I think the highest crit rate that you can get to is with the best title in the game. It's probably like 52, 53. For me, the highest that I can get to, because my orders are really crappy with my Rock Jun, is like 48% with the Tyler lead. So that's still pretty high, and then as you crit, you deal more damage. Orb him with concentration, and then crest him up with. It doesn't really matter what you crest him up with because he has no debuffs. He doesn't have any activation skills. Doesn't matter how low his cooldowns are. So just rune him up or crest him up with whatever you have to maximize his crit rate and his attack power. Also, if you guys did not know, no matter what you have on your striker, it does not contribute to the team's total stats, okay? So there are some units in here that whether they are just a brand new 4-star at level 1, not awakened, or whether they are 6 stars and 6 times awakened with your best orbs, they're still going to be doing the same thing. The effect of their striker skill is going to be the same exact thing. So next up that I think is really popular is Scissor Natalia. So she has a striker skill or a leader skill that just buffs attack, right? Which is great because you're probably going to run her with units that are going to be dealing more damage from the Medina faction. So in the Medina faction, we already have Rock Benito. So if you guys have Rock Benito, probably pair her up with him. And then her strike is what makes her pretty damn awesome. It's an AoE attack that deals 1200% of attack power, and it only has a 6,000 strike points, so not too high. It's still pretty good. When you deal damage with this strike skill, you will recover 150% of damage dealt. So you're dealing 1200% of attack power, right? You're basically recovering 1200 plus half of 1200, so that's like 1800% of attack power. That's how much you're recovering. I have seen her crit and recover like 12,000 of a heal back onto her own team. All right, that means that she initially dealt about 8k damage. That's pretty darn insane. And the best part is if you crit with her, she will deal 250%, and she will take that back as life steal. She will deal 1200, but she will take back 250% off 1200, which I think is 2400. That's almost like 3000% attack power. I think that's what it is. That's insane. All right, the life shield that she does is insane, and she also deals damage. So if you guys have the proper crit stats, and you guys have, let's say, Cadiz or Gunter in your core 3, and you guys are saving it so that when you have crit rate on your team, then you're going to use her in a striker position, then fine, go ahead, rune her with concentration. But even if you guys don't have concentration, just rune her with bravery, and she's still going to be recovering a lot of life steal. Her and Rock Tyler, you want good orbs and you want good crests. For her, again, it doesn't matter what crest you have on her because she has no activation, or it doesn't matter how much cooldown she has or how much resistance she has. So just rune her best to give her more crit rate or to give her more attack power. Next up, we have the Scissor Chrono. Paper Chrono is good, yes, but generally he's used in the core 3. Okay, these are strikers, guys, not the best units, right? Mostly best units are used in your core 3. I'm talking about strictly strikers. So why is he so good? Well, he has a leader skill that will reduce all cooldowns of everybody, regardless of what faction, regardless of what element they are, by 7%. Pretty darn good, right? Then he has Quiet Tomb, which is a 7,000 striker point. So again, you want to run him with a tanky team. Best part about this guy is that you need no orbs on him. You don't need to awaken him. You don't need to do anything. Why? Because all he's going to be doing, like, yes, he does deal attack power, right? 680% of attack power, that's good. The main purpose of this skill is to reduce their cooldown, or to increase your target's cooldown by 8 seconds, and then you will pause them. Now, if you guys haven't seen what time pause is, it basically pauses the opponents, so they're kind of like stuck in time. And then even once that 8 seconds passes, you just increase their cooldowns by 8 more seconds. So that's basically a 16-second of debuffs onto the opponent. That's the train. I'm sorry, I can't do anything about that. Yes, if you guys want, rune him up with bravery, I would say, because if you're running him, your team probably doesn't have a lot of crit rate, and you're probably not running any crit buffers, so just rune him up with bravery to maximize attack power. But even if you guys don't, he's just brand new 4-star, don't need to awaken him or anything, just put him there in your striker position and he's going to do just fine. I would, however, recommend that you put precision crest on him just to make his 75% chance to increase the target's skill cooldowns by 85%. Again, this is a debuff, not a buff, so there's always a chance of it being resisted, but 85% chance is a pretty darn good chance. let's go on to both the Eves. So we're going to talk about Scissor Yanuk in a bit, but what Paper Eve does, her leader skill, is decreases damage taken by allied heroes by 15%, which is really good. And her striker is at only 6,000. She's going to recover HP equivalent to the team, and then 1,000% again of her own defense. So she's one of the units that you need to have good orbs on. Rune her with, or orb her with proper Iron Guard. I think it's called Iron Guard. I should really check this out. You guys get what I mean, right? The one where if you have 4, you get a plus 20% defense. And then Crest again, doesn't really matter. No debuff, no activation chance. So whatever you have to maximize her defense so that she heals more. But she's generally ruined up with Tyler, rather either Tyler in the core 3 or her in the core 3 and then the other one in the striker position to give you a total damage taken resistance or damage taken decrease by 35%, because Tyler does the same thing but for 20% and they stack. I've had run-ins with these kind of teams before, and trust me, they generally have someone else in there like Soho for a defense buff or Francisca for a damage taken reduction buff, and then you just deal no damage. And God forbid if they have a healer in there, because you deal probably like 1,000 damage and they're healing for like 5,000 damage every second. It's just insane. So next up, let's go on to the Scissor Eve. She's a bit less effective in my experience. What she does is, well, she's not less effective. I prefer the Paper Eve better because I have Scissor Yanuk. But basically what she does is she basically has 2 safety nets for you. Her striker skill is still at 7,000, so basically the same as your Paper Eve. Run them both with tanky teams, because if your team doesn't last very long, there's no chance that you're going to be getting the 7,000 strike points, okay? What she does, her passive is very unique. I haven't seen any other hero in the game that does this. When your HP falls at 20%, she will create a shield that basically covers your entire HP bar. So the opponent basically she creates a shield that protects you from damage when you fall below 20%, and it's pretty darn good. It basically absorbs damage. I don't know if it's for a certain amount or for a certain time duration. I'm pretty sure it's for a certain amount. So that's her first shield, right? And it's not, because what happens in my experience is that team drops below 20%, she has her whole HP bar turns green, and then I use my John with high crit rate, right? So he generally crits. Even after he crits, he won't one-shot them. He'll just reduce it back to 20%, maybe a little bit less than 20%, but it basically absorbs one high-value nuke. Then she has a striker skill. Her striker skill basically makes her a budget Adonis. What she will do is she will immediately recover defense-based HP recovery for 900%. So again, rune her with Iron Guard. Crests again, doesn't matter what they are, just maximize defense so that she heals more. And then she gets a shield that makes you invincible for 6 seconds. No damage taken for 6 seconds. If you run her, you might want to have on your core 3, have them all on resistance or just high resistance in total, because even if you guys have a shield, it can be stripped. But she basically has 2 shields, which makes her super, super good. Okay, so now let's go on to Inua faction, where obviously we're going to be talking about Scissor Yanuk. Now, he can be run in the core 3 as your leader or in your striker position. Generally, how I see it is that he is in the striker position, and generally Eve is in the front line, because when you have her in the front line, you have 2 heals, right? Basically, Paper Eve I'm talking about, by the way. His leader skill is decrease of damage taken by all allies by 20%. Pair this up with Paper Eve, it's a 35% damage reduction. If you guys have a defense buffer like Soho or Yona, and then you guys have a damage reduction buff like Paper Francisca, it's super effective. But then again, note, it can be stripped, okay? Those damage reduction buffs or those defense buffs can be stripped. His strike is Cutthroat Lord. It's basically 3 attacks. He goes 1, 2, 3. Each attack has a 41% chance to cause a recovery ban, which is super good. 6,000 strike points. When this comes on, generally both teams are below 50% health. When he applies a recovery ban, it doesn't matter if the opponent has a heal or if their striker has a heal, because even when they come in, they will heal for basically nothing. even if the striker has no heal and just damage, right? You guys will notice that the striker comes in, blue crystals fall onto the ground, and they will go back onto the target or back into the, what is it? It'll go back to the leader, and you'll recover some HP, and normally sometimes that HP recovery is what screws you over. HP recovery band is super good. I would rune him with either bravery or crit rate depending on what team you're running, and then rune him with precision crest just to maximize his recovery band. And he does do pretty good damage even without, like, I have him on concentration, but out of the 3 hits with my 27% crit rate, he generally only crits once. And even on the ones that he doesn't crit, he deals pretty high damage. So I'm actually thinking about removing him off of concentration and putting him on with bravery. But again, if on your core 3, you guys have Katie's or Paper Gunter, and then you guys are using their crit rate buffs and then bringing your striker, then of course, rune him with concentration. So next up, we have Paper Cur. Now, Paper Cur, I just want to say, has 4 stuns. So generally, he's used in the core 3, okay? His leader skill gives an increased HP for 10%. However, his strike is a stun and a 2 buff removal skill. And then what it also does, or what more, is that it is a 4,000 strike point. That's insane. Basically, what this means is that if your opponent has like Paper Eve or someone, right? By the time they activate their Paper Eve, you've probably activated your Paper Cur, and you're probably getting close to activating his striker skill one more time. Now again, he's more popular in the core 3, but I have had times when he's run in the back. So basically, Bear Hook, what it does, I'm pretty sure it's a multi-hit. He kind of like hooks you with his left hand and then hooks you with your right hand. So it's 2 hits. Each one has a 42% chance to stun you. And then if you rune him with precision, he's gonna have a higher chance to stun you. His damage scales off of HP. So rune him with either Vitality. Some people rune him with concentration to maximize crit rate, but I would recommend Vitality. So yeah, he's another good one for your striker. Let's see who else is there. Honestly, I don't see anybody over here in the striker position. I do see Rock Luna, but she's generally in the core 3, not in the striker position. So let's go over to Jin. So Jin over here, I think everybody is pretty damn viable. Like, everybody is pretty viable, and for those heroes that aren't viable, we are getting the patch, I think, tomorrow. So it's going to be absolutely fantastic. But Scissor Shaolin is generally run in the core 3 position, but then she's also run in the striker position. She only has a strike point of 5,000. What this thing does is, again, it's a double hit, has 100% chance to remove the target's shield. So it's super good for fighting units that like Paper Adonis with the invincibility shield, or things like Paper Sierra that have the damage reflection shield, because a shield is a shield. Then furthermore is that she has a chance to stun them for 3.5 seconds, and then she does damage based on her attack power. So rune her with either bravery or concentration. Again, you guys know when to rune her on bravery or when to rune her on concentration. Cress, I would say precision to maximize her chances of stunning and removing the buffs, because again, buff removal is not 100%, okay? You need to have, even with a 100% chance to remove the target shield, you're not always going to be removing the target shield. That's why they rune them with resistance. That is why my arena team, if you guys have watched my previous videos, have a 59% resistance, because that helps out so much. You guys have no idea how many times I've run into people that have Scissor Carlota and Scissor Shaolin, and then the Carlota does the cooldown reduction, right? So cooldown reduction meaning that my Scissor Shaolin is now, or their Scissor Shaolin has now more chances to strip and stun. So many times I've resisted their strips and their stuns like twice or thrice in a row simply because of my 59% resistance. Her leader skill increases the attack of Jin faction by 10%. Not really sure who you'd use that with. Maybe with a Zhao Qi, if you have a Zhao Qi in your core 3. Jun's not so much, because Jun's scale off of they scale off of, what is it they scale off of? Defense. Jesus. Okay. Now you have your choice of running either a paper Soho or a scissor Soho, okay? So scissor Soho is more orb and crest, or more orb reliant, because what he does is he will increase defense by 35% for 15 seconds, right? Which the paper Soho also does. But he will actually increase or recover HP based on his own defense 3 times. So you need to have good defense on him. So Iron Guard orbs and then crest, whatever the hell crest you want, but just maximize his defense so that he heals more. I mean, wait, that is a striker, yeah, whoops. I mean, I was on his skill 1, but his skill 1 is a striker. It actually increases defense by 60% for 15 seconds, which is a lot, by the way. And his leader skill will heals the team's HP by 20% when HP falls below 20%. Do you guys know what this means? You get at 20%, immediate heal back up to 40%. In regards to this, he is better than Paper Soho, but Paper Soho is also good because he isn't orb reliant. So let's get on to Paper Soho. Leader skill increases the defense of Jin faction by 7%, which is great because a lot of people use Rock Jun and Paper Jun. His strike, however, increases defense by 60% for 15 seconds and increases attack speed by 70%. You could have him fresh out of the box, 4 stars, no awakenings, no orbs, no crest. He's still going to do whatever he would do if you had him at 6 stars, 6 times awakened with your best orbs and crests, okay? He is more of the offensive kind. The other Jun will heal you when you fall below 20%, and then he'll heal you again when his striker skill comes on. What he will do, or what Paper Soho will do, I think I just said Jun. I'm sorry, I meant Soho. What Paper Soho will do is that he will actually increase your attack speed. You're attacking faster. What does this mean? Your striker bar is filling up faster. So generally, by the time you hit 6,000 strike points, you are falling below 50%. But if you can hang in there with the attack speed increase, you guys will probably be able to activate his striker skill one more time. I've done it a few times. Have 2 Soho with my Paper Soho, have him strike twice in a single match. It's hard to do, but he's more of the offensive kind. And yeah, he doesn't need anything. He doesn't really need a lot of orbs. He doesn't need anything actually to shine. Just bring him out fresh out of the box or work on him. Doesn't really matter. Then over here, I think the only one that I see from around here that's very popular, again, popular, okay, not good, popular, is Paper Issac, simply because a lot of people run Adonis or Paper Sierra, or basically shields, right? His leader skill, what it does is it will actually increase the buff duration of allies by 15%. So every time I run him with my Adonis is 8 seconds shield will turn into a 10-second shield. And his striker skill is actually really, really good. It will remove all debuffs. 100%. Again, this is a buff, so it's always going to happen. Okay? Say you guys just ran into a Scissor Yanuk, and you have a recovery ban on you. You have a defense break on you because they just had Rock Francisca. He comes in. What's he going to do? He's going to remove all your debuffs. He's going to remove the debuffs, and then those crystals are going to go onto the ground, and then the crystals are going to come back onto you to reduce cooldown and to heal you. And the heal will actually heal you because he's already removed the recovery ban debuff. Then he will put on a shield onto you, which you will only be taking 30% of the damage and reflecting 70% of the damage. This skill is so fun to use when the opponents have things like Rock Benito, high DPS units basically, Rock Benito, Paper Francisca, Rock Jun. Because God forbid, if they try to nuke you, or if Benito activates his attack speed increase skill when you have this shield on, because then what they're basically doing is they're basically chunking themselves off 70% faster than they are to you. Well, it's not 70% faster, but you guys get my point, right? You're only taking 30% off their damage. You're doing 100% of the damage that you're dealing, and then 70% of the damage that's coming onto you is being reflected. So these are the top 12, I think. Was that 12? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, so those were the top 12 units that I see or that I've been seeing consistently in top arena. Hope you guys found this video useful. If you guys have other units that you guys know that are good strikers, go ahead and leave them down in the comment section down below, because this is going to be my first striker video, which is going to be, again, the most popular striker video. My next striker video, probably next week, is going to be simply based on some of the best, not the most popular, but the best strikers that might be getting overlooked, or that are being or that just aren't receiving the attention that they need to, or that they deserve. So again, this video is a $10 gift card giveaway video, so I'm not going to buy the gift card yet, because I first need to select the winner and then get in contact with them, find out if they use an Android or an Apple device. So go ahead, leave a comment with #Nazi, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and until next time guys, Neon out.